Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello dear learners, welcome to the session of Managing Equality and Diversity. I am Dr. Supriya Jain, working as an Associate Professor at GLU University, Mathura. So in this session we will be discussing on the application aspect of motivation. If you remember, we have discussed the theories of motivation in our previous session, and now here we will try to understand how we will be able to apply those theories and how we actually be able to motivate our employees in the organization to change their behavior. In this session we will be covering these topics. We will start with motivation by job design. We will discuss the job characteristics model, what is the understanding of job redesign, alternative work arrangements, employee involvement, using extrinsic rewards to motivate employees, using benefits to motivate employee, and at the end we will be discussing about how we can use intrinsic reward to motivate employees. If you look at the learning objective of this session, by the end you will be able to describe the job characteristics model and motivation through the job design. You will be able to compare the main ways job can be redesigned. You will be able to explain how specific alternative work arrangement can motivate employees. At the end, you will be able to describe how employee involvement measures can motivate employees, demonstrate how different type of extrinsic pay programs can influence employee motivation. You will be able to show how flexible benefits can motivate employees, and finally identify the motivational benefit of intrinsic rewards. So let us begin with the understanding of JCM, that is job characteristics model. So first of all, we will be understanding motivation by job redesign. Job redesign is the word which you must have heard earlier as well. It is basically related to redesigning the job in the manner where people would be able to find some purpose, some meaning while doing their job. You must have heard of many stories where people are doing job but they are not getting any any kind of satisfaction from it, or the job is of very monotonous nature where people are not happy discharging such responsibility, right? Like for example, a person who may be paid very good amount of salary, but the nature of job is very dull, right? A person has to do the same kind of a routine work from morning till evening and has to repeat the same kind of job for years and years. So maybe this person will be losing the interest in the job after a period of time, and once the interest will go down, the motivation level will go down, and it ultimately going to affect the performance. So what we are going to do here, we will try to understand how these jobs could be redesigned in the manner, rather this person would like to join somewhere where he or she might be getting a little lesser paid, but a job would be of kind where some kind of enthusiasm and interest could be generated. So the way work is structured has a bigger impact on an individual motivation. This is what we are going to understand here, right? So the nature of job which has been there in the organization, how we have designed it, what kind of roles and responsibilities, what kind of work assignment is being given into that job needs to be taken care of, because that aspect also affects a lot on the motivation of an individual. So if you look at the understanding of this word, job design refers to the way the element in the jobs are organized, right? How well this job is being structured, how well the elements are being organized. Now coming to the most important point, that is JCM, what are the job characteristics model? So a model proposing that any job can be described in terms of 5 core dimensions, right? So what are those 5 core dimensions which are to be taken care of while designing the job? Refers to the skill variety, what kind of skills, what different set of skills needed to be there to perform that task. Then there is a task identity, how much the task you will be able to identify with it. significance of the task, the purpose, right? Why are you doing it? What benefit you would be getting and what benefit it is going to create to the society or maybe the people who are associated with it. Autonomy of the job is also very, very important because people look to have some kind of a freedom and autonomy while discharging their roles and responsibility, right? And for sure feedback, right? If you are doing something and you are not getting any sort of input on it, how you are doing it, how well it is going, so people need to have some feedback on it so that you could be able to feel motivated by the appreciation, and if there are any gaps you would be able to improve yourself. So let us understand this JCM model in a better way in understanding how we could be able to design the jobs in the organization to make our employees feel motivated. So we will start with talking about, like, it is comprises of 5 core elements. So skill variety refers to the degree to which job requires using different skills or talent, right? So here, like the example which I have given you, the previous example where a person has to apply the same set of skills since morning till evening and every day the same set of skills are being required, then definitely those kind of jobs will demotivate people after a point of time, right? So it should be designed in a manner where you would be using different sort of skills and talents and you would be enjoying doing that particular task by, you know, using the varieties of skills on it. Like for example, a work of a garbage owner operator who does electric repairs, rebuilds engines, does body work and interact with the customer scores high on skill variety. That means the kind of a job which is being given to you, you are doing multiple assignments, right? You are also you know, acting as an electric repair, you are also rebuilding the engine designs, you are interacting with the customer. So different type of skills are being needed to perform all these different sort of tasks. Whereas a person or a job of a body shop worker who sprays paint 8 hours a day scores low on this dimension. So that means this is this kind of a nature of work which needs to be done on regular basis. So definitely those jobs which are high on skills, right, where variety of tasks needed to be performed, different sort of skills and talents need to be shown, they are high on skills variety. Where the same and the repeated nature of work needs to be done, there the skills variety are low, and these kind of jobs will somehow will you know, lose the interest and the motivation level of an individual. The next in the you know, system is the task identity, right? So the degree to which the job requires completion of the whole and identifiable piece of a work, right? So you need to understand how you identify your tasks, right? So you need to understand, like for example, a cabinet maker, okay, a cabinet maker who designs the furniture, he or she gets into the selection of the wood, then you know, then there is a build of the furniture and finishes the pieces that has a job that scores high on the task identity, because here you have the whole task where you could be able to identify like what are the things which you are doing and how you have started the process of completing this particular task. Whereas the other person who is scoring low on this dimension would involve operating a lathe solely to make table legs, right? So this is the task where you are only performing a, say, you know, a simple particular you know, aspect of that particular task, whereas the other person is involved into starting till end, right? So task identity refers to the completion of a whole, right, where you would be able to identify yourself that this is something which you are performing, this is how you would be reaching out to the end, from the beginning to the end. So that defines the identity, and definitely if there is a task identity, then this will help the person to get involved and to bring out something positive to it, rather than only focusing on a simple aspect of it or performing or a same or a similar nature of a work. Then comes the task significance. Like I said, this degree to the job has a substantial impact on the lives or work of other people, right? So what you are doing, has it some meaning or not, right? Is it fruitful for the people or not? It is you know, impacting somebody or the not, has to be there, because this is something also gives the satisfaction and the motivation to the person while discharging their duties. Like for example, A job of a nurse helping patient in the hospital intensive care unit scores high on the TIE significance, whereas sweeping floors in the hospital scores low, for sure, right. A person who is providing services to the person, or a nurse who is taking care of the patients in the ICUs, right. So, the nature of work is very, very demanding, and it is having a lot of significance, because this is the task which is helping the people to become better, whereas a person who is only mopping the floor does not have a much significance, though it is also important, but it is not going to change life of many people, right. So, task significance, what task is being given to you, how important your task is also going to define the level of motivation in an individual. Then comes the autonomy. Like I said, autonomy is something which is to be there in the work or the assignment which is being given to you, and it is also been defined in the Henry Fayol 14 principle, right. It is very important, if you have given certain responsibility to somebody, it is important to give them certain level of autonomy, right. Responsibility and authority goes hand in hand, right. So, the degree to which a job provides substantial freedom and discretion to the individual in scheduling the work and in determining the procedure to be used in carrying out it, right. So, if you have some freedom and autonomy of doing your things your own way, right, nobody is forcing you, or nobody is asking you to be done your work in a procedural manner, right. You have that autonomy to do whenever you feel like, and this kind of a freedom and autonomy make your work more and more interesting, and that will motivate you, because you are doing work as per your own conditions given, and you are not working any kind of a pressure which is going to even if your mood is not there. We have also seen different point of time, people goes with the different emotions, people goes with the different mindset, right. So, autonomy will help them if they are feeling happy, if they are feeling charged at that point of time, if they would be discharging those responsibilities and duty, then definitely they would be able to bring out more positive results to it. So, a sales manager who schedule their own work and tailor their sales approach to each customer without the supervision have highly autonomous job, whereas an account representative who is required to follow a standard sales script, then the person has to do the same kind of activity based on some standards which are being given to them, and there is no autonomy of the assignment which is being given to that individual, then definitely this task remains low on the scale. And like I said, feedback is very important to understand whatever the activities you are carrying, how you are discharging those duties, like what is the feedback of that work. If it is being given to you on timely basis, then you would be able to have the understanding how much effective you are on your job and how much you can improve, right. So, both the things could be there. Like for example, a job with the high feedback would be testing and inspecting iPad, installing components of iPad as they move down an assembly line provides lower feedback. Okay. So, the nature of work define how much you would be needing your feedback and how much people are not getting the feedback, because the nature of work which is being given to them is of not that important as compared to the other jobs in the organization. So, if you understand this job characteristics model, these are the characteristics which we are talking about for a particular job, starting from the task identity, task significance, or the different sort of skills are being required in the task, the freedom as well as the autonomy, the feedback which is to be given at the job. If we are keeping all such consideration while designing our job, then definitely we would be able to make better designing of the job, so that people will get motivated and they would get some interest while discharging their duties. Okay, so this is the model given by Hackman and Oldham, or here you can understand, like we have divided this particular model into different parts, starting from the core job characteristics, then we have critical psychological stages, and finally you can see the personal and work outcome here, right. So, what has been done, the initial three elements like skill variety, task identity and task significance are grouped together, because if this will be there, a person would be able to have this experienced meaningfulness of a work, right. So, they will find some purpose, they will find some meaning related to the task, why they are being doing it, and how they would be aligned with that particular things, right. So these three elements are important in drawing the meaningfulness of that particular task, whereas autonomy refers to the responsibility, means you are responsible for doing something and you are being given such kind of a freedom to discharge that particular duty, whereas freedom, feedback is been helping you to have the knowledge of result moderated by the employees, like whatever work you are doing, your knowledge has been improved on it, how much better you are doing and how much there is scope to improve on it, right. So these are the three critical stages, psychological stages rather I should say, where a person will develop such kind of an understanding. And if you look at the personal and the work outcome of these elements into this model, if a person is experiencing meaningful results from the task which he or she is performing, if they are understanding the responsibility given to them and their knowledge has been also updated by providing certain feedbacks, then definitely their internal motivation will be high. They would be highly satisfied with the task which has been assigned to them. They would be able to work high, their quality will go, there will be low absenteeism and low turnover. So you can understand how important this job characteristic model is in getting the outcome related with high motivation level of the employees and reducing the absenteeism and turnover rate, right. So this kind of a relationship are moderated by the employees growth needs trend, depending upon how much people we need to have in the organization and how we would be managing the show by including these characteristics in the job of an individual, right. So this is very important understanding, because it's not only the person who can be motivated by providing them financial or non-financial incentives, it is the job which is being given to them defines the level of motivation and the interest they would be putting in discharging their duties. Now moving further, we have another important concept related to this JCM model, that is motivating potential score, right. So motivation potential score is basically a predictive index, right, which is going to help in understanding the motivation potential in a job, right. How much this job is motivated, or how much a person will be motivated discharging certain responsibility or discharging certain assignments. So for that we have this MPS, which we called as motivational potential score. So this is based on the characteristics or the elements which we have discussed so far, like the skill variety, task identity and task significance, which are there to provide some meaning to that particular task, are being combined together, and then we will be dividing it by 3, and that thereafter we would be multiplying it with 2 other elements which are also of lot of importance, that is autonomy and feedback. So once we would be able to calculate all such things for a particular job, we would be able to figure out how much predictive index reflects the motivational potential in that specific job, right. So before we are handling or we are assigning any individual to perform that specific task, from a managerial point of view, again it is important to know how much job is motivating and how much aspects are being covered as per the job characteristics model. So to be high on motivational potential, job must be high on at least one of the 3 factors, the factors which we are combining together. If the job does not require the variety of skills, but at least the job is good in understanding the task identity, or task must be of a significance where this person would be able to understand that whatever the activity they are discharging are of utmost and importance for them or maybe for others, right. So here the perspective is any 3 of these should be high, at least one of them. All 3 of them are high, then it is very, very good, but if all 3 of them could not be high altogetherly, but at least one of them should be high, so that we could be able to get a better motivational potential score in it, okay. So if job scores high on motivational potential, the model predicts that motivation, performance and satisfaction will improve, and the absence on turnover rate of the employees will be reduced, okay. So these are the core and basic understanding which is needed to be taken care from the organizational point of view to improve the level of motivation in the organization. Now moving further, we are going to talk about job redesign, right. So far we were discussing about job design, how the jobs in the organization should be designed, taking care of these characteristics and the elements so that we could be able to figure out how much those jobs will be motivational. Now we will talk about job redesign, right. Once we have designed the job and they were not able to provide that much of motivation to the employees, then we need to think of redesigning them. So there are two important things which could be done in redesigning of the job. The very first is called as job rotation, and the another important concept here is called as job enrichment, right. So job rotation refers to the rotation of one person from one job to the another job, right. So why it is important and why it is generally been considered into this redesigning aspect? Because of changing of skills, right, because of changing of the task identity, okay. Repeating the same nature of work and doing the same kind of a task on a regular basis will reduce the motivation level of an individual and thus reduces the performance. So if we want our employees to be motivated and to involve or to get into the variety of things, then this is one of the very good aspect which could be taken up in the organization in the form of job rotation, where periodic shifting of an employee takes place from one task to the another. And this is also a very good way of enhancing the skills of the individual. If you are looking forward to make your employees multitasking and to have a good understanding of different aspects of the job, then job rotation is a very good exercise. And let me tell you, job rotation is also a part of training, right. If you are looking for giving some kind of a higher profile to your employees, or maybe you are looking forward to promote them to the higher position, then this job rotation is again a very helpful exercise, where you are making them understand the different nature of work in the organization, and once they are getting into those work, they will know the understanding, they will have a better understanding of those assignments and could be able to make out better decision and choices reaching out to that higher position, right. In contrast to that, we have job enrichment. So there are two terms generally people get confused. One is called as job enlargement and the other is called as job enrichment. So how do we differentiate between these two terms? Job enlargement refers to giving more assignments, giving more responsibility to the individual at a same position, okay. So job enlargement, you can say, is basically basically giving the understanding to the individual that this person is capable of taking off more assignment, but you are just adding the responsibility of an individual, but you are not promoting that employee. Whereas job enrichment is adding higher responsibility to the job to increase the sense of a purpose, right. As we know, one should know that what is the purpose of doing that particular job. So job enrichment refers to the promotion of an individual, right, where we are enhancing the status of a person in the organization by giving them new assignments and new challenging roles to be performed, right. And this could be a kind of an intrinsic motivation to an employee, where they feel energized, where they feel charged, because they are being considered important to perform that specific role in the organization. So both of these techniques are being taken up for job redesign. If you want to know about the job rotation more, then let us look at the drawbacks of job rotation. So far we have talked about job rotation is a very good technique, but definitely there are certain drawbacks which are also being associated with the job rotation. The very first is training cost increases when each rotation necessitates a round of a training. Yes, for sure, if you are assigning different varieties of job, or you are making a person moving from one assignment to the another assignment, so the another assignment would be will be completely new to that person. So you need to give certain sort of a training before handling that particular job to that individual. So it is going to increase the training cost of that particular aspect, and this is how the training cost of the organization will increase if they would be taking up such kind of an activities for all the employees in the organization, of a good number of employees in the organization, then definitely this training cost of the organization will go up. Second is, moving a worker into new position reduces overall productivity for that role. This is again important to know, right? If you go back and look at the you know, management theory is given by F.W. Taylor, or you have read the story, you know, theory given by Henry Fayol, they all talk about division of work, right? And why do they talk about division of work? Because if tasks are divided into different category and a same nature of work is being assigned to an individual, that person get into the specialization of that particular task, and specialization leads to, you know, perfection. Okay. So, you would be discharging those responsibility with lower cost and you would be able to perform that task faster. But here in the case of job rotation, what is happening? You are moving one person from one assignment to the another assignments. So, as and when that person become perfect into one assignment, you shifted that person to the another work, right. So, this is how they would be able to reduce their productivity, because unless and until a person become perfect into one task, you rotate them to the another task, right. So, this is not going to enhance the productivity of the organization. Definitely a person will learn different set of skills and they might not feel bored doing different assignments, but ultimately it is going to hamper the productivity of an organization. The another important drawback lies with it is it creates disruptions when member of the group must adjust to the new employee, right. This is true. We should understand this fact as well, because organization works are not done in isolation, they are generally group based or team based work, right. So, if a new person is being added to a team, you know, more or less the team get you know, aligned with each other with lot of understanding, talking to each other, and all of a sudden one person of a team is being shifted to the another department and a new person becomes the member of the team. So, it becomes difficult for the team also to get aligned with each other and to understand each other, and ultimately all such things are again hampering the organization productivity further, right. And lastly, supervisor may have to spend more time answering the question and monitoring the work of the recently rotated employees, because these people are new to the system, to that particular system which has been assigned to them, the new task which has been given to them. So, they must be having lot of questions regarding it. So, they keep on asking the supervisor, and the role of supervisor will also increase by monitoring them closely to see what they are doing, are they able to do it correctly or not, and they also have to answer their questions on regular basis. So, job rotation comes with all these drawbacks also. If we are thinking that it is a very good exercise, though now no doubt it is, but it cannot be done for everybody in the organization because of all such drawbacks associated with it. Coming further, we have relational job design as well. So, relational job designs refers to the understanding where we are constructing job. So, employees seeks the positive difference they can make in their life of others directly through their works, right. So, relational job design is something where we are, you know, trying to make employees work so much positive, where they could be able to associate that whatever the work they are doing is going to provide certain benefits to them as well as to the society, right. So, like for example, medical device manufacturer Medtronic invites people to describe how its products have improved or even saved life and share their stories with the employees during their annual meeting, right. So, which provides the employees a powerful reminder of the impact of their work. So, this is something which could be done in the organization, because whenever you are doing some work, right, whatever assignments is being given to you, you do not know how much you know, impact it is creating. So, to you know, to motivate the people and to you know, provide them some kind of an interest in their job, you can call certain people and make them understand in the assignments that whatever the work they are doing, it is impacting their life very positively, and that is also going to give them the satisfaction, right. So, the work which you are discharging, how you would be you know, making it relatable, how you are constructing that job, where you are making them understand that work which they are doing is creating a change in the life of many people, and this gives the purpose to their work, and the purpose of their work will help them in getting motivation doing that. Then looking forward, we have some alternative work arrangements also. So far we have discussed about the job design. We can use various techniques to make our jobs more interesting and to make and to motivate the peoples in those jobs. But regarding that, we have other alternative work arrangements as well, like flexi time could be used, like job sharing can be used, and telecommuting, right. So these are the important aspects which we will be discussing one by one to understand how bringing all such aspects to the job in the organization will also help in motivating our employees. So these are specially to be, these are likely to be especially important for the diverse workforce of dual earner couples, single parents and employees caring for a sick and the aging relatives, right. So flexi timing would be good for the people who are single, right, or where family, in a family member, both the members are working, right. So both have to discharge their responsibility. So if one member of a family is getting the advantage of job sharing or flexi timing, then it is much more relaxed to that person, or a single parent can go for it, or a person who has some parental responsibilities to be taken care of. So all such facilities would be of great motivation to such employees. Like for example, flexi time and tele work can help women continue to advance their careers after the childbirth as well, right. As we all know, female employees have another set of a responsibility to be taken care of. So such kind of advantages will always be there for them. If the organization are providing them all such facility, it will help them or it will motivate them to continue with their work and to discharge their duties. So let us talk about the flexi time, which is known as flexible working hours. So this has become very popular in today's time, and companies are also using, like where they are allowing their employees to come to the offices as per their conveniences, and they can discharge those duties, whatever the assignments and works are being given to them as per their flexibility, right. So like Jim Ware, founder of Focus Consulting Group, note that if you are trying to build a first rate culture that attracts and retain people, you better make sure you get the reward piece right, and part of that is autonomy, right. So according to him, what he says that if you really look forward to have right talent in your organization, if you want to attract good people towards your organization, if you really want them to retain, right, so then you need to understand what is more important thing which you need to inculcate in the job aspect, that is autonomy, freedom, right, where they could come and do things as per their choices. This we have already seen, one of the very important aspect of job characteristic model, right. This element if we are putting in our job, and we are giving this kind of a flexibility to our employees to make their own decision of coming on their flexible timing, then definitely this is be a good game changer. So flexi timing has become extremely popular, and organization reap benefits from it as well. Like for example, Society of Human Resource Management reports that organization can experience enhanced productivity by boosting employees' morale, providing them the ability to work during the hours that better suits their natural energy cycle. So we have people with different energy cycles. Some people are morning people, some people like to work late at night. There is a very good saying like morning larks versus night owls, right. So depending upon their energy level, they can choose their timings, and definitely the organization will be able to enjoy the productivity which they would be bringing in. So flexi time, major drawback is that it is not applicable to every job as well as to every worker. So this is something which needed to be taken care of, because we are talking about something which is related to that assignment, which is related to that job. These are the options which we can go, but for sure for every industry such kind of arrangements cannot be done. The another aspects which comes into the category is the job sharing. This is again getting popularity in today's time, where two people are sharing their jobs, right, where maybe this kind of an arrangement can be done that where one person works from 8 AM to 1 PM in the afternoon, and another discharges the responsibilities of the same job from 1 PM till 5 PM in the evening. Or it could be done that way, where one person coming one day and the other person would be doing it another day. So alternative days can be also chosen up. So job sharing allows two individuals to split a traditional job, full-time job into sharing basis, right. And this is again a very good arrangement for those people who who want some kind of a flexibility in their job, where they are looking forward to have somebody to share their assignments and responsibility, and who are not able to provide the longer hours in the organization. So job sharing also allow an organization to draw on the talent of more than one individual for a given job, and this also gives the opportunity to acquire skilled workers. Like for example, retirees could be taken up. You can also take up the parents with the younger children, because again they would be in a condition where if the job sharing aspects would be provided to them, they would be able to give their inputs to the organization who might not be available on the full time basis. So this gives the opportunity to that people, an organization would be able to hire more talent related to the nature of job which is required. So from employees perspective, job sharing can also help them increasing the motivation level as well as their satisfaction level, if they can work when they would not normally be able to do so, right, because their work will not suffer, somebody else is also being associated and will be sharing the responsibility. So that is also not going to give the stress to the individual that because of them, because of their responsibility, the organization work is suffering, right. So such kind of connotations will not be there, and this will give them the motivation and satisfaction discharging their assignments. Another one is the telecommuting in this regard. So working from home is also becoming popular, specifically after the COVID-19, and here person can choose any of the outside location, other than the physical office place, where they could be doing their work as per their own requirement. So again we can see that this kind of arrangement where we are talking about telecommuting is also helping a lot in the organizational point of view, because now their office space has been reduced, right. People need not have to spend lot of time in traveling, right, where they have stuck into the jams and they are just wasting their time, coming to the offices and going back to their home, right. So lot of stress has also been reduced in kind of requirement where this kind of possibility can be made and worker can work from telecommuting. So for instance, like finance, insurance, management, IT sectors, these are some of the industries where this telecommuting work can be given, but definitely it is not, professionals can telecommute for greater periods of time without productivity loss, like in manufacturing industries, like in construction industry, retail and food service workers will not be able to get such kind of an arrangement of telecommuting because their work cannot be done from home, right. So this is also true that flexible timing and telecommuting kind of a facility could not be applicable to all the industrial setup. Depending upon the nature of work, these alternative arrangements can be given where there could be possible, so as we could be able to motivate our employees and can give them more satisfaction in the work and the assignment which they are doing. Now coming further, we have employee involvement and participation, EIP, which we called as in short, right. So you must be able to relate now. We are talking about the motivation of an employee, how we could be able to feel them motivated and satisfied with the assignments and the work which are being provided to them. So again, it is a process, it is a technique which we are using in the organization where we are trying to involve our people in the decision making, right. So participation refers to, involvement refers to having more of the employee involvement in planning out the policies while making out the choices and decisions, so that they feel a part of it, they feel associated with it, right. So it is a process that use employees' input to increase their commitment. Suppose if there is a decision needs to be taken care of, right, if only the management make out the decision and they just only tell the employees, then this is something which they have to follow. So it might be possible then the employees are not really feel associated with that kind of a system, right. They might be following it wholeheartedly, or they might not be doing it wholeheartedly, right. They just accept it because they don't have any choice. But while making out those decisions, if you are taking their inputs, if you are seeking out their suggestions, so they might be able to bring out their problems and their things in front of the management, and bringing out those aspects could be incorporated in such decision making, would be giving the better acceptance from the employees' point of view, and they feel more associated while discharging that assignment, right. So if workers are engaged in decision, that increases their autonomy and control their work life, and it will become more motivated and more committed to the organization. They become more productive and they will be more satisfied with their job. So, this is also one of the good technique which can be used by the employers in the organization to have involvement and participation of their employees. If you look at the example of employee involvement programs, here we are categorizing it into two parts. One is called as participative management and the other one is called as representative participation. So, talking about the example of employee involvement programs, here we have two types of employee involvement program. One is participative management and the second is representative participation. So, both the kind of situation can be used by the management. So, the very first situation is where all the employees are being involved in decision making and we are seeking their inputs while making out policies, while making out plans for the organization. So, this system is called as where we are taking the significant degree of decision making with the immediate supervisor, whereas representative participation refers to where group of people are being appointed from the from the employers, and these are the people who would be giving their suggestions and input regarding the choices which are given by the employees. So, here every employee is not being involved, but the set of people are being taken up from their group and they are being made as a representative to participate in the decision making process of the management. So, EIP program clearly have the potential to increase the intrinsic motivation of the employees, where they feel valued, where they feel important to be a part of those system, right. You are making them aligned with the system, right, where they feel that their advice and their approach to the management will also be listened, right. So, all such things are the part of intrinsic motivation. From inside they feel happy and they will also consider this a kind of a good system which is being taken up by the employer. Now, we will talk about the extrinsic reward to motivate employees, right. So, extrinsic and intrinsic, those two set of rewards could be given to the employees to motivate them. Extrinsic rewards are more in a financial way, whereas intrinsic rewards are more in non-financial way, right. So, if we look at the extrinsic reward, where we have to consider two things. The very first is what to pay and how to pay, right. So, we have to understand that what payment needs to be made to the employees, because if the salary or allowances are being given correctly to the employees, then definitely they feel motivated. But it is again a very difficult aspect from the employer's point of view, then how and what are the things which needed to be taken care of while understanding these extrinsic reward. So, very first we will be talking about what to pay, right, establishing a pay structure. What to pay refers to what amount needed to be paid. So, here two things needed to be taken care of. One is internal equity and the other one is external equity. So, internal equity refers to where you would be aligning the payment structure of the employees working within the organization, right. So, if you have same sort of responsibility given to two different set of people, right. So, their payment needs to be similar. If there is a difference in their pay structure, if one person is being paid more and the other person is being paid lesser, discharging the same kind of set of responsibility, then this will lead to major dissatisfaction. And this we have seen in the theory of equality. If you guys remember, in the previous session we have discussed this theory of equality, right, where people always look forward to be treated equally. Okay. If they are not being treated equally, if they are being discriminated with that, then it brings a lot of dissatisfaction and negative inequality in the organization. So, internal equity is very, very important to be taken care of. The worth of job to the organization and what is the payment structure which you have defined for the other people working on that particular job. Another is the external equity. External equity refers to what is the basic pay structure going ahead in that particular industry for that specific role or assignment. Suppose according to you, your organization worth is different, but in the industry people are getting different kind of a pay structure, discharging the same set of responsibility. So if you will be doing that, then definitely it will be difficult for you to retain those kind of people, right. So if you really look forward to attract good people and to retain good people in your organization, then you need to work very closely with this aspect of understanding what to pay to your people, understanding the internal equity as well as external equity. Some organization they usually try to keep the same kind of a balance which other companies are giving in the same industry, but there are organizations who are trying to pay more than what is being given overall in the industry, because they want to keep their employees motivated, they want to give the best to their employees so that they can have best talent in their organization. So pay more and you will get better qualified, highly motivated employees who will stay with the organization longer, and perhaps they would more likely to perform and innovate things for the organization. So this is an important aspect to keep your employees motivated by taking care of equality. Next is how to pay. Again, once you have decided that this is something which you are trying and which you have calculated that this particular job requires this much of payment to be made, but it is again needed to be taken care of, how are we paying it, right. So payment structure also creates a lot of difference in it. Why should I put an extra efforts into this job? You must have heard many people saying this, I can excel, I can do or I can do a bare minimum, there is no difference, I will get the same. Why do anything above the minimum to get by, right. So what becomes the basic for the individual is, if they are being given with certain amount of pay structure, and if they are being asked to do something different or they are being given some another set of responsibility, so the very first question they will be asking why they would be doing it and what benefit are they going to get it from it, right. So it is also needed to be taken care in organization, some sort of assignments regularly need to be given to the employees other than the basic roles and responsibilities which are being stated to them at the time of their joining or maybe while giving them the assignment initially. So if such kind of things will come out later on, then it will be difficult for them to work for it, right. So for this a very good system could be made where we can define the variable pay program, right. So we are paying them as per the work which is being done by them, so that they also feel motivated discharging the another or the additional set of responsibility, right. So here we would be discussing in detail two things, that is pay for performance efficacy and pay secrecy, right. So these are the two important aspects which are usually being done under this variable pay program. Let us discuss these points one by one. So here we have types of pay per performance plans, right. If we are paying based on the performance an individual, right, if a person is doing well, suppose two individuals who are doing the same kind of a work, or maybe the one person who is able to perform better, but ultimately they both are getting the same payment structure. So the other person who is performing well in the organization will get demotivated and the other person will feel happy, because putting lot of effort the other person is also getting the same amount. So what we are doing here is we are going to make the payment based on the performance. The one who is going to perform better will have a better payment structure, the one who is not discharging his or her responsibility with that much of effort, definitely their payment structure will be little lesser, right. So here we have piece rate pay plan. Piece rate pay plan refers to the workers where they are being paid fixed sum for each unit of the production completed, right. So whatever the production you would be doing, the more the production, the more will be your payment structure. So that is being given on the basis of your performance. The more you would be producing, the more amount you would be earning. Then another could be in this category is known as merit based pay plan, right. So merit based pay plan is based on the performance appraisal. Usually the organizations have kept the understanding of appraising their employees and reviewing their performance, how well they are performing. So accordingly, if the person is performing good in the organization, if they are meeting out their standards what are being given to them, then they would be paying better, their increments would be there, and the one who is not able to perform better in the organization, if their appraisal is being done and that has been come out, this person has not put in their inputs in the organization as much as been required, then they are not being paid to it. Bonus is also one of the way to, reward the employees for the recent performances rather than historical performances, right? If a person has done something new, if a person has bring on something innovative and creative in the organization which was not being done earlier, then those people could be motivated by given some bonuses, okay. So this could also be one of the better way of, motivating their people in the organization, where they are putting up something new and different in the organization, because that has been associated with some kind of a reward. Then there is an profit sharing plan, which is opted by many organization, where they are giving the profit sharing to their employees, because they are bringing good business to their organization, and they are hoping that if they would be helping, if they are going to share their profits with them, they would be working more towards it, right, because they are not going to get a specific salary, but whatever the business they would be bringing, and they would be sharing the profit on it, okay. So this is also a very good way of motivating the employees, and very good companies are using these options to the people in the organization on the top level, and this is also helping them to have their kind of an ownership. Another important aspect is employee stock ownership plans, where companies are also offering their employees their stocks, right, giving them the option to buy their stocks of the companies below the market prices. So if you are helping the employees to have the options of buying these share at the lower prices, they are also helping them to be the owner of the organization, and this gives them the motivation. Now, using benefits to motivate employees. Organization can also use some benefits to motivate their employees, like what benefits and choices to offer, like such as flexible benefits could be given, and how to construct employee recognition program, right. If you are using employee recognition program also, that is also helping the employees to feel motivated and to discharge their responsibility in a better way. So here we have flexible benefits that develop a benefit package, right. You can take in money forms, including health care, you can give them the retirement savings, you can help them in studying the loan payment, repayment assistance, you can give your employees paid leave, work-life balances or work-life benefits could be given, travel assistance could be given, career development aspects could be taken care of, right. So flexible benefit refers to that particular aspect where the organization is giving the flexibility to the employees to choose the benefits they want to have, right. Like for example, a person who is doing the job and already has done his or her education 10 or maybe 15 years back, and if you are giving them the benefit of student loan repayment assistance, then this kind of a benefit is of no use, because the person has qualified their education way back, and now there is no kind of such loan or repayment is being left. They have already discharged their repayment of the loan, right. So such kind of a benefit is of no use for such kind of an employee, but definitely a fresher who has just joined and is also having the responsibility of discharging their loan, this benefit is fruitful to that individual. So depending upon the requirements of the employees, if we are giving them the flexibility to choose the benefit which they are looking forward for, is going to motivate them towards their job, right. So flexible benefit can accommodate differences in the employee need based on their age, their marital status, their partner's benefit status, and number as well as age of dependents. So this a person can customize as per their requirement. Now coming to the important aspect of this session, where we are going to discuss about the intrinsic reward to motivate employees, right. So far we have discussed how extrinsic reward motivates the employees, and there we have to be very, very careful, because ultimately the money matters, and how we are going to define our pay structure, how we are going to pay them differently by understanding what different variable pay programs we can use to keep them motivated always, not for today but always they should be motivated for discharging their duties in a better way, right. So in the very first thing we are talking about employee recognition program. Employee recognition program is a very good aspect, this is the very good way of giving them intrinsic reward, where we are appreciating the work efforts, okay. So we are basically trying to do these things where employees feel motivated, they feel charged for the work which is being done by them, and this does not require much of the financial burden on the organization also, because you are recognizing your employees, you are making them the star employee of the month, you are giving them certain certificates, you are giving them some trophies to make them understand that their work is valuable, and they are being rewarded with such kind of facilities where they can show their talents to the people. And this is not only motivating that particular individual who is getting that reward and certificate, at the same time it is also helping the other employees to be motivated, right? They will also gradually work for achieving those kind of recognition, because that will give them the name. And as we have seen the motivation theory, people are moving to the different level of needs at different stages of their life, right? Some people have a need for achievement, some people have a need for affiliation, some people have a need for power, right? So people who have a need for achievement will definitely get lot of motivation by such recognition programs, where we are making them feel good, and we are appreciating for the work which is being done by them. So research suggested that financial incentive may be more motivating in short term, but long run non-financial incentives work best. So with the end of this understanding of this interesting reward, you can relate that definitely money is a good motivator, but whenever we are being motivated by money, that motivation remains for few periods of time, or you can say a shorter period of time, okay. But if a person is being motivated towards with this intrinsic reward system, then their motivation level lasts for longer period of time. So definitely, as we know that motivation is needed to be there in all level of the organization, and that is to be done on a continuous basis. So organization has to think very wisely when and where such kind of benefits to be given to the employees in terms of extensive as well as intrinsic reward. A good balance need to be taken care of while motivating the employees in the organization, and once the employees are being motivated, you will be able to get good results of the work which they are doing. So coming to the summary of this particular session, we described in this session how the theory and research of motivation which we have discussed can be put into practice, right? So the very first thing which we have started with the session is the understanding of job design, and we have looked upon the job characteristic model. What are the specific characteristics which are needed to be taken care while designing the job related to the skill variety, task identity and task significance. These are of utmost importance because they give the meaning to the work. What work you are doing, it defines the meaningfulness of that particular task, and at the same time you need to take care of autonomy which is being given to discharge those responsibility and feedback which gives them the responsibility and which gives them the freedom to work, right? And based on this JCM model, we have also looked upon the motivational potential aspect related to that specific job. And further in this session, we have discussed lot of things like what are the different aspects which could be associated with the job, like job redesign, where we have got the understanding of job rotation as well as job enrichment. And thereafter in this session, we have discussed about a lot of intrinsic and extrinsic reward which we can give to the employees, and how we can make the use of flexible benefits, right? How we can use the alternative methods of motivating employees by giving them flexible time to come and discharge their duties in the offices. Telecommuting facility could be given to them, right? So all such things will make the employee work easier, and definitely all such things will be helpful for the organization as well to keep their employees motivated and to get the best of their people, right? So ultimately this is all being together to enhance the productivity of the organization. And if you look at the implications for manager needs to understand how to design and redesign the jobs to make it more motivated. Manager has to have a considerable alternative work arrangement to empower the employees, right, to make them involved in the participation aspect of the organization. All employees need to be contribute in solving the organization's benefits packages, and how we can link the reward with their performances, right? So these are the references which are being taken up for this particular session. I hope all of you have enjoyed and understood the session well. Thank you everyone.